We offer programming assignment help, live one-on-one mentorship, training courses, job support, project-based mentorship, and interview preparations as well. So today in this webinar, we'll be covering these following topics. First, we will understand what product-based companies actually are. Then we will get to know how you can apply for these companies. And thirdly, we will understand the importance of your resume and how you can tailor it accordingly. We will also learn about the interview and the coding round and what skills you require, how you can prepare for the interview. So at the end, we shall be having a Q&A session as well. So if you have any doubts, you can clarify it. Um, Now, without further ado, let's proceed to the main event. Today, we have Miss Mrinali Mangal with us. She is a software development engineer at Amazon, and she will be guiding you today on how you can ace your interview at a product based company. Mrinali, over to you. You can take over this webinar.
So thank you, Devdatta, for the my intro. My name is Mrinali, and I'm working at Amazon for last 2 years. I'm working as a software developer, so feel free to connect on LinkedIn. I will start this webinar. So basically, this webinar is all about my learnings that I have gone through, like in my journey from college fresher to Amazon. So all of this, I had like several learnings. So I think I can help you in your journey as well. So we can start this webinar with that. So let me share my screen. Um, Let me know when my screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible. Yeah.
Okay. So this webinar is about how to crack tech interviews for a product-based company. So basically, the first question that arises when we see this topic is what is the difference between a product-based and service-based, and why is it that everyone focuses on a product-based company, and why all webinar or like stuff is all about product-based. So first, what is a product-based company? Right. So product-based company is the company like where they create their own product and sell them to the consumer. Okay, so for example, Amazon, Meta, Apple, in your language, I would say the farm companies and some startups like Swiggy, Zomato, they are all are product-based companies because they sell their product to the consumers. So for example, Swiggy, they have their app and you onboard and they onboard you on that app and then sell their products, right? So it is a product-based company. Similarly, other companies as well. So basically, they don't provide service, but they sell the product. They have their own product and they sell it to the consumers. So that's what we call a product based company. So basically, why we choose product based company is because in a product based company, it provides you some growth, it provides the development opportunity, and it also pay you well. So that is one of the main reasons why people go into a product based company. So you have your own learnings, you when you get into product based company, you understand the pipeline. Look, okay, if I'm going into too much detail, then feel free to stop me, but I'll just give you a high level overview of what happens inside when you get into a company. So you learn the development, you learn a front end, you do the back end, you see how your package has like whatever code changes you have done in your code package that get deployed to the pipeline, and after the production it gets to the consumer. Then you see that what consumer are facing, is are they facing any problem, how consumers are liking this. So basically the its product is like a baby, which where you see all of the growth, right, from when you start creating it till the it get deployed and it gets into the consumer. So so basically, this is what a product based company gives you. So it also involves growth, definitely, and the pay, of course, that we have already talked about. Now, the second is that, okay, now you have understood that you have to apply in a product based company, but do you know how? So Basically, product you can apply in a product-based company through various sources. For example, okay, so company career portal is always there. Okay, for any company that you are targeting, for example, Amazon. Okay, since I'm from Amazon, so I will mostly talk about that part, but also I will talk in general. Okay, so for example, if you want to apply in Amazon, so Amazon has a career portal where you can just search the jobs, what are all openings there, and when did they posted. So all of these are there, the hiring manager name and all of the JD and whatever is there. So it's basically the JD of your job description. Okay, so you can see on company career portal. It applies for all these startups. So for example, if you go to Zomato career portal, you just have to Google it. That, like, for example, I want to search for Amazon, so I will say Amazon career portal. It will give you the link. For example, Swiggy, Zomato, Microsoft, Facebook, Meta, any company, you can just uh, Google it, that whatever company you want to search, and then career portal. It will give you the all the links. Okay, okay. So going to each and every website is like hectic, right? So on daily basis, you cannot go through like 50 to 100 companies and then you have to select it, right? So that's why there are other portal as well where they post that job so that everyone can see at one place. So there are portals like LinkedIn. On LinkedIn you can search for a job, on naukri.com, on indeed.com. So many people have like got placement from these portal. Okay, because these are the intermediators. So basically, if company wants to hire, so they also have to do something, right? They also have to get candidate from somewhere, they have to post. So they also know that candidate cannot like go to their portal and apply it directly, like right? Because it's for all, right? So how do they reach audience, the company, how do they reach candidates? So basically they post their they contact the third parties, and then they ask that please get me the candidates, and then they will hire them and go through all the interview process. So that's how these intermediate works, and you get a job through these intermediators, and basically you get a job in the company. So this is how you can do. So it's not always like you have to search for a company and check the opening. You can go through various platforms, LinkedIn, Naukri, Indeed. There's some other portals as well. On the Google you can just search it. So if you can just search a software development jobs in India or anywhere, like, or even just search software development. It will give you a lot of portals where you can apply directly, and you can see all the openings at one place. So that's how you apply. So there are two ways to apply. Okay, through, so even if you go to the LinkedIn, then from the LinkedIn you go to the career page and then you apply, right? But there is another thing where by like there is another thing through which you can apply, and it increases the probability of getting a call from a product based company. That is called referral. So each company allows their employees to uh, to uh, to refer someone they know, and they think that they are good fit for the company according to the JD. They can apply it, and they get a preference over other in general who applied it, right? So you can reach out to the employees. You can reach out on LinkedIn. You can reach out if you know someone personally. If someone, if relative, if one of your relative works on a company, in a good company, so you can ask for them to get a referral and you can apply it. So on LinkedIn, don't think like it's a Facebook or something like that. It's not. On LinkedIn, it's very professional. Even the recruiters of a good company reaches candidate on the LinkedIn. So just use the platform very wisely. You don't have to see that you don't know this person, so you cannot add, or like you cannot send a connection request. So it's not like that. It's a very professional tool. You just be very professional on that platform and use it. So you can reach out to the recruiters and send the messages, but don't expect that you will get a reply from them every time. In out of 100 200 you will get a one reply. Even if your profile is too strong, like you have all the skills written in the resume, like in the resume or your LinkedIn profile. So they might reach you, like they might reply you uh, uh, like out of like 100 to out of 100 they can reply you maybe 3 to 4 times, but not more than that, because it's always like lower side, right? But it increases the probability of like it increases the probability of getting the call or getting the reply from the recruiter than in general how you apply through the career portal. So take all the platform very seriously. They are very good platforms. You can get, you can grab any opportunity on LinkedIn, a career portal, and you can also ask for referrals. So that's how you apply apply in a product based company. So, so the third point is, so does resume matter in the interview? So how? But how? Okay. So how do you judge a person? If you want to judge a person, you will see their resume, right? Like for example, if I'm taking your interview, right? Then I also need something to talk about. So that's how your resume play a role. Okay, so I check your resume. In that resume, I check your projects. Okay, I will just say that tell me about yourself, and they will just start all of that, and I will just check the resume. Okay, this person knows DS, so I will ask the DS questions. If this person knows if this person has done some web development projects, I will just directly I will just directly see that section and ask the question that how did you like did this project. So it basically allow you to, it basically give a interviewer a perception of yours. So it's basically like you know these skills, they can ask questions, you have done some projects, so it is a way of like how they can start talking, so it gives a subject to talk. Okay, it's a, and also in the resume, so many like in the previous slide we were talking about how do you apply in a product based company. So on the LinkedIn, on the career portal, there are like there are thing called scrapper, where you upload your project, upload your resume, and then scrap all the information, fill all the blanks, right, in the portal. So that's how that's where the simple layout matters. So in if your resume should be very up to date. Okay, it's very important. The layout should be very simple, so it is easy to scrap. It's not like you are adding some flowers and all, or like making it very colorful. It won't matter, because finally it has to go through the scrapper and get all the information. If your projects are good, if your skills are good, it will definitely stands out. Your resume doesn't have to be like very colorful, very attractive. It has to be very simple, so that scrapper can scrap that all the information that you have written in the resume and fill all the information that is needed. Okay. Now, why projects are important? Because it gives a subject to the interviewer to ask some questions. So, for example, if I'm sitting in a software development interview, right, and I've done some projects already in that, so it gives interviewer confidence that you can do this project that for which he is hiring. And also it will give a subject to the interview that okay, you have done this project, then tell me how, like have you used this skills, and what have you done, what are your contribution. So this is basically a initiate the conversation and gives a confidence to the interviewer. So projects should be very important, and they should be very good, like it should align with the role that you're applying. And write what you know, not what you think. Okay, so there should be always two sections in the resume. First, the skills that you know by heart. For example, for the data structures are very important in the IT industry. So you should know that. Okay, so it should be in the skill section. But there are some skills always that you have done in a project, but you don't know it by heart. Like if you like there is a section that was required in the project, that's why you studied that, but you don't know around that. So those skills should be mentioned while writing the projects, but it should not be written in the main skill section. Got it? Any questions so far? Okay, let's move on to next. So, so basically, does interview round and coding round need same preparation? Are they same? What do you think? Can anybody answer this? People on the call, can someone answer them? So does interview round and coding round need same preparation? Okay, no one.
If you want, you can write down your answer in the chat box as well.
Yeah, make this session very interactive, right?
If you know the answer, then you can write the answer in the chat box.
Or what do you think? Like just studying data structures, clear all the rounds, or like how is it different? Is it different? Like how are they different? Okay, it requires a different approach for both. Okay, how, Pratibha? Can you unmute yourself? Would you like to explain it?
Or you can explain it in the chat box as well. Okay, Akashdeep has also
I
written
can
both of.
I can
Hmm.
speak. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, Pratibha. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, in an interview, it is more of a personal kind of conversation that we are having, and
Mm-hmm.
in a coding interview, it will be related to your like programming skills and all these.
Okay,
So
got
that
it.
is how they are different. So
Hmm.
the approach for preparation of both of them needs to be different.
So what a person should learn, or like how do they prepare for the interview round? Because if
Well,
I'm
for the
talking about data structures, then data structures are going to be asked in both the rounds. So what is the
yeah,
difference between both of them?
in the interview, they are not going to be the questions are not going to be too deep. Like they are not going to touch the topic in too much of depth. They just want
Mm-hmm.
to analyze your basic understanding and also want to know about you on a personal level as well. And then when the like the interviewer feels that okay, the candidate might be a good candidate, then they move to the next uh, stage. What is that is the coding interview, right? And in there, they'll be like rigorously testing you on your programming skills, like all the data structures and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yes. Thank you, Pratibha, for your answer. That's correct.
Welcome.
Thank you. So, so basically, both are different. The level of preparation should be different. How do you approach both of the rounds should be different. They are not same. For example, if I'm talking about data structure question, so how it is asked in the interview round is different from how it is asked in the coding round. In the coding round, it's very important to clear all the test cases, to use the best optimized approach, and to solve it, right? But in the interview round, it's not important. It's not important that you solve all the edge cases. It's not important to use the best optimized approach. I'm saying it's not important, but it is preferred, obviously, but it's not important. And no matter how good you are in the DS, how good you solve the question and you are using the best time complexity, but if you're not able to communicate with the interviewer, then it's all waste, which is not in the case in the coding round. So in the coding round, the time complexity matters, the best optimization matters, the time that you have, that in the 1 hour you have to complete the thinking, the dry run, all of those things. You have to complete that in the coding round. So coding round is basically a regressive, what's a regressive thing that uh, that is asked. That is asked by the company. So basically, if you don't do the coding round, then obviously the interview round won't happen. But the coding round needs different level of preparation. It needs a go through, like it needs a practice. Okay. Whereas in the interview round, it is more with the patience. Okay. It involves a lot of patience. In the interview round, you have to communicate. So communication is the key to crack the interview, obviously along with the skills that you have. So in the interview round, you can start with a brute force and then go to a mid-level optimization and then go for the uh, best optimization if asked. So this interview round doesn't have to be like best. with best optimization. It can be mid-level if the interviewer is satisfied. Okay. Second thing is that uh, you have to represent everything visually. So if I know the approach, okay, so if I know the approach, then I have to explain it very clearly so that they are able to understand and give me a go ahead that yeah, you can do start the implementation. Also, I need to dry run whatever I have given the approach, like you have to, I have to explain it through um dry running it, and then after the dry run, I have to start the implementation. So in the interview, a lot of things matters. It is not necessary that you clear all the edge cases, but the interviewer has understand that yes, you can, if some more time is given to you, you can complete this code, you can complete the edge cases, you know what you are doing. So basically it evaluates your understanding and the thinking skills. But in the coding round, it is evaluating the TS skills. That's the difference between two. Okay, so also in the coding round, if you see, there are questions more from array, DP, hash map, which are easy to explain and easy to give it as an input, right? But in the interview round, if you see the archives of good product-based companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, they have been asking um, uh, trees and linked lists in their interviews. So that is not asked in the coding round in most of them. So that's how they differ. Okay. Now moving on to the next slide. So importance of HR and available public reading material about the company. So in the interview, okay, in the interview, it's very important to know about the company that you're sitting for, and you should know the process. Okay. For example, if I'm applying in a company, for example, Amazon, let's take Amazon as an example. So, for Amazon, I should be aware that what is the process, what is the duration of the interviews, what competencies are going to be judged, what will be the level of data structures, when in which round the design is going to be asked, which is going to be the hiring round, a hiring manager round. So I should know all of the details in order to prepare for the particular round. It's not like if it is a behavioral round, then I have to prepare for the behavioral things, but if it is a technical round, then I don't have to worry about behavioral, right? I should be worried about the technical stuffs, right? So this is very important that you should know what is the process of getting into the company, how many technical rounds or how many rounds are happening, what is the round for which you are sitting, and you should well research about the company. If you research about its company and culture, it gives a good impression on the interviewer that you have done your own research, and you can use that knowledge to ask question to the interviewer. Okay. And also in the procedural, for example, if it is your last round, then you will put more efforts, right? You will see like this is the last interview round, so I just have to crack this and then I'm good. So importance of HR is very important because they give you the process details, they explain. If you have your own doubt, like for example, some people prefer work life balance, some people prefer good projects, some people prefer good amount of money. So all of these are the factors that plays a very important role. So here importance of HR is very important. You can communicate with them that you want this, I want a good project, I want this position, I want a good work life balance, so please assist me accordingly, and please tell me what is the process of getting into it, how many rounds will be there, and what will be your role in for that position. Okay, so it's very important. So going to the next. So what skills are required to crack interviews? So interviews are divided into two categories: technical, behavioral. Sometimes it is semi-technical as well, which includes a behavioral round as well in that interview itself. So in the technical, I think is first is the data structures. Data structure is very important. I'm talking about the at a fresher level. But in the if you're experienced as well, then it just you need data structures plus some more things, for example design and all. Okay, but I'm talking as a fresher. Then for the technical you need data structures, it's very important. In every almost in good companies, all of the rounds all the technical rounds all will be based on DS. Okay, so the data structure is very important. Your CS fundamentals, database management system, operating system, computer network, OOPS, all of these are very important. Your language, your grip on the language. If you are using Java, then you should know the Java concepts. If you're using C++, then you should know C++ concepts. So CS fundamental is very important. And obviously, whatever projects you have done and written in your resume, that is also important. So these things are asked normally in the technical round. But if but nowadays I've seen a trend that people are being asked for the low level design patterns, and sometimes HLD as well. So there is like nowadays companies are taking a machine coding round. So with in the coming years, I think it will become a mandatory uh, subject. Like it will be a mandatory round, similar to coding round. That coding round and machine round. Machine round is basically you write a functional coding of the design that you have created, and uh, for the questions that was asked. So data structures, CS fundamentals, low level design, all of these are important nowadays. Okay, behavioral round. Okay, so in the behavioral round, everyone has their own take of it. Each company has different way of asking questions. So for example, Amazon focuses on leadership principles. um, Whenever you apply for Amazon, if your interview is scheduled, then they always write the competencies you have to like go through and focus on. So for that, there are enough materials on Google. I mean, on search, you can just directly search it. If for example, Microsoft doesn't have this much. They don't have their own leadership principle or something similar to Amazon, but they have their own what say they have their own way of asking behavioral questions. So you should search about what are past interview questions that were asked, behavioral as well as technical. It give a good view of what can be asked and what is the culture that they are following while in the interviews, right? So it behavioral round depends on company to company. It can be leadership principle. It can be a simple behavioral question that why do we think that you are a good fit, or why should we think you are a good fit, or something like that, or why should we prefer you over other candidates? Have you faced any situation, like they give you some situation, or they can ask like tell me about yourself, which I haven't read in your resume. So if so basically, and also it's a very popular question that why do you want to leave your job? So or why do you want to come to us? So these are all very standard questions that are asked. So it depends on company to company what they're going to ask. So you basically should do very good research about companies archive questions. You should go through all of them, and most of them, like in many good companies, they are asked again and again the same questions. So it also gives you a clear view, and also it gives you some luck to they might ask the same questions, right? So always research about this, always go through your company's archive. It's very important. Communication skill is the key, applies to technical and behavioral round. In the behavioral round, as I already said, that all of these are in the behavioral. By word, it means that it's a communication, how you think, how you create a situation, how do you explain all of the things, and what interview want to listen. You have to feed that. Okay, and similarly for the technical, it's all about how do you communicate your approach, how well are you able to understand the interviewer questions, how are you thinking of what interview wants you to think, how you are able to ask your questions that you want to use uh, in the question, Also, you should be able to take up the hints. If the interview is giving hints and you're not able to take it, then you won't succeed, right, in that interview. If taking the hint is very important. Okay, so some people, what they do, that if they are not able to answer a question, if they are not able to solve a question, they they just give up. But that's not the solution. Every time, it's not necessary that you encounter same, like the questions that you have done in your previous uh, uh in while practicing, right? It's not always like you will always encounter a new question. So it's not like that. It's not like that. It's like, you have to, don't have to give up. In the technical interviews, it's very important to take up hints. Sometimes the hint is so good that you are able to solve the new question. Okay, so communication is very important. You should understand and well communicate with your interview. You should set up a bond. You should understand. You should keep your ears open, that whatever they are saying, you should understand that. Don't overthink about what they are saying. Okay, just understand what they are saying. Understand what they require. Understand their hints if they are giving. Well communicate about your approach, the dry run, and all of that. Okay, so it's very important. The communication skill is very important in the interview round. Okay, so how to answer data structure question in the interview. So, in the interview, if I ask you a data structure question, so my first thing would be, I should ask the clarifying questions. I should ask questions that I can think that it might come in my mind, or it might require in while implementing it. For example, size of the data, uh, the time complexity that you're thinking. If they see, sometimes interviewer intentionally give you some ambiguity, so that you yourself analyze that question and ask them. Okay, sometimes I don't write specifically the sorted, but I give you something in a as an example, that says that it is sorted. But either you can assume that it is sorted, or you don't think it is sorted, so you have to clear that with the interviewer. So it's very important to ask clarifying question. Second thing is, after asking questions, take some time and think about what you want to do with that. Okay. After you are clear with the approach in your mind, because it's very important to come to like explain to, I mean, it's very important to think before you explain, because it will create a mess. Okay. So take some time and think about all approach that you're thinking. Okay. Then explain it to the interviewer. The interviewer might or might not be satisfied with your answers. They might ask the time complexity, they will ask the space complexity, and they might ask you to optimize it. Okay, then again you have to think, and then again you have to give the approach. Okay, don't and first don't start the implementation directly. You have to communicate and get the interviewer on the same page. So once you're done with that, once you have asked the clarifying questions, once the interviewer is satisfied with the approach, then just try to dry run it, so that the interviewer understand that how your code is going to be. Dry run the sample example and sample test case, and then start implementation. Okay, while doing all of this, don't be silent of more than, I think, 2 minutes. You should be always vocal about your thoughts, because if the interviewer once like sits like this and they are like, okay, now go ahead, I'm doing my own work, then your interview is gone. So it's very important that you keep your interviewer always engaged. They should not like do their own work and you are doing your interview. It's not like that. Both the parties should be involved. Okay. So communication is very important. And once you're done with done with the implementation, you should yourself dry run it on some test cases, so that you yourself find the problem that you in your code. It's not like the interview is saying that, okay, can you solve it? Do you think there is some edge test cases that you have failed? So always think in that direction. That always don't give opportunity to the interview to correct your mistake, or to point out the mistake. Okay, so you should do that. And along with that, I think while doing all of this, please communicate. Communication is very important. So do all of this. Okay, I think that's how you answer a data structure question. Be very vocal about what is the time complexity, space complexity, the approach you have used, the implementation, dry run it, use the visual representation of if you're explaining something. It is like if even the interviewer missed your thought for like 2 seconds, but seeing it as a visual gives some clarity of what you are saying. So always do that. So that's how you answer data structure questions in the interview. And then interview says that yes, I'm satisfied with the like obviously they won't say that they are satisfied, but they gives okay. Now this concludes the interview. So what's next? So once your interview gets completed, once they have done their uh, Q&A of uh, data structures of technical, then at the last it comes that always the interviewer asks for like any questions for me. It's very important. That's where you leave the impression on the interviewer. So in the previous slide, as I said, that research well about the company, show your stalking skills. Basically, not the person, but the company. Okay, please be clear. Here I'm writing the show your stalking skills means that show your stalking skills about the company. So see how they have grown, see if they have launched any product. You should be aware about the product. Um, you should see if they have done something recently on which you can talk about, ask their work culture. So just try to create questions out of that. Okay, it's not like interview, you are sitting in an interview and don't know for what you are sitting, like for which company you're sitting, what that company does. So it should not be like that because at any moment if they know, then it really ruin your impression on them. Okay, so research well about the company. You can ask the HR, I mean not directly but indirectly you can ask HR about certain projects or something like that. You can ask about the work life balance, the projects that you are going to work. So you can say that HR has already told me. You can ask for business entitlement, the impact. There are many things to be asked, right, about company. So just go research about company and ask questions because it gives the interviewer an impression that yes, this guy, this candidate has prepared well. They might not be able to answer all the questions, but they know how to how to sit in an interview. Okay, Uh, your professionalism matters more. Okay, your professionalism should speak themselves that yes, you have done your own job of researching well about the company and asking good questions. And the last, obviously, the practice has no shortcuts. So uh, talking about data structures, no matter how many questions you have done, um, it's always like if you have done some okay, so it practice matters people to people. Okay, so I mean it varies people to people. So someone can understand the whole concept in a 10 question and some can understand the same concept in 50 questions. So it depends person to person, but there is no shortcut of practice. More questions you do, you will be more able to understand it and will you will find less chance of getting a new question from the interviewer because they also google it and like they also has done their own practice while research uh, while getting into the company. So they are also doing the same question, so they are going to ask the same questions. So that's why practice has no shortcut. You have to practice. More you practice, the lesser the chances of getting a new question in the interview and increasing the chance of getting more confidence and cracking the company. So, so practice is very important. Okay. And at the end, it's all luck and hard work. Sometimes your luck might not work. Sometimes it feels that you have done the less hard work. So the combination of both makes you perfect. So keep working hard and don't underestimate your luck. Luck and hard work both are equally important. Thank you.
Mrinali, I do have a question from my side.
Yeah.
If
Mm-hmm.
you could please share your experience at Amazon. That how did you crack this interview, and what is your experience right now at Amazon?
Okay, so I was working at a startup company called Whatfix, Bangalore. I joined it as a fresher, and then I found an opportunity on Amazon portal where I saw that that JD, the job description, is very similar to the experience that I have. So it was asking, I clearly remember that it was asking the experience of 5 months to 1 year, and the skills that were written was actually my fit. So I thought I was not planning to actually switch. I was very happy with my previous company as well. So I thought, let's not, why not just try it, let's see what happens. And luckily, and obviously my hard work as well, so I cracked it. In the during the I think during the preparation, like how do I prepare, is that how did I prepare is basically I so data structure is very important to the Amazon. Okay, so in the Amazon, I asked all the things, like for example, what is going to be asked in the interview, if it is a technical or behavioral. Okay, if it is a technical, I search about what is the code round one that people have taken, like what is their experience, what are the archive questions. So I try to do the standard questions because they are generally asked in the interviews. So I did that. Okay, and if it is a behavioral round, if they ask, like for example, the behavioral question, the competencies, so I just Google it and learn their leadership principles. I search on YouTube how to answer those questions. So basically, researching researching more about the rounds, the company rounds, and the information that is going to be asked, the previous experience, all of this helped me to crack it. That's how I cracked the interview. And obviously, it's not like only DS, but other CS fundamentals and everything. I worked on them. So I never like I have been failed many times. Honestly speaking, during the freshers. So basically, in my college, from August, the company used to start hiring. Uh, then in the December, I think I got my first offer. So in that 4 months, I think all of the people from my college, I think, got placed, and not all, but yeah, most of them were placed in a good company. I was really depressed, and like, but I never uh, stopped hard working. So I always practiced. I knew that okay, right now maybe my luck is not working, maybe I'm not fully prepared, but I have been learning it. Like I have been constantly working on it. I have been improvising myself. If I see that in that okay, in the previous interview I got rejected because of this, then I worked on it and improved it. So at a certain point, I became someone like I know how rounds are going to be there, like what is going to be asked. Like if it is a DS, then how should I approach it? Like for example, the sortings were asked generally in the interview question, so I read that. I how to answer the behavioral question. So all of that helped me to crack this. So it's not like if you're getting rejected from one company, is like you have like it's all over. It's not like that. You learn from that mistake, you improve yourself and apply in the next company. So that's how I cracked Amazon. Um, and I have been working in Amazon for last 2 years, and it's great. Um, in Amazon, it's something like you always get a very good projects. The project quality is very important. The skills that I have acquired working as at Amazon are Java, Spring Boot. I have learned back end, front end both. I've done the work on React.js. It's not like I know these skills earlier, but being into it and just like hustling into it got make me learn all of this. I also like worked on AWS because AWS is very common, so I worked on that. So slowly, I really like the project. I've been liking the projects, so it's very good. Like the project quality is very good in the Amazon, I would say. And the culture, of course, there is a workload, as with all of the companies, I think it's very common, and it's very common to have that workload, and because you want to, and in the starting phase of your career, I think people should focus on learning rather than having the stability and just like normal life. I think because in the starting years, it's a very important to grow and to acquire the skills. That's what I have been doing, and I really love my journey, and I have been loving the work that I have been doing in the Amazon.
Thank you, Mrinali. Thank you for such a insightful session. Now I'll be presenting my screen. Can you see my
Sure.
screen?
No, I hope everyone uh, gets some learning from my journey. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I hope that I hope that you have liked my session. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, so as Mrinali has already acquainted you that tech interviews can really be nerve-wracking sometimes. So, which is why has introduced a new program, which is interview preparation program, which is mainly aimed at freshers, students, and working professionals. As you can see here, that we offer live one-on-one session. We work on live projects. We also help with interview preparation. We have personalized classes. We have doubt clearing sessions, and we offer project support as well. So you can see that we follow a very personalized approach so that you get the undivided attention that you need to ace your interview. So this is our contact number. You can contact us by sending us an email at contact@codersarts.com. You can visit our website as well, www.codersarts.com. And of course, there's our customer number. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this page. I'll also add the our email and website in the chat box. You can email us here at contact@codersarts.com. So now we will have a Q&A session. If any one of you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box. Are there any questions? You can ask from your end. You can write in the chat box as well. Okay. So, Mrinali, can you see the question in the chat box? Hello?
Sorry, I was talking on the mute. Yeah. So, how should candidates approach whiteboard coding challenge in a tech interviews? So, so basically, what you can do is that in the whiteboard is basically the visual representation of the coding, right? So I think, and also like it's more like you should be aware of what you are writing. Like first of all, I think what it how I have done is that I write the pseudocode. Okay, I write the pseudocode while explaining to the interviewer, and while doing that, it gives me a clarity of how I'm going to implement it and how I'm going to dry run it. So it gives the edge. It gives an edge of both the things, the dry running it as well as implementation. So writing the pseudocode really helps in that, I think. Does that answers your questions?
Yeah, I think that answers his question. So I don't think we have any more questions. So Yeah, I don't think there are any more questions.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be it from our side. Thank you everyone for participating in this webinar. If you're interested in learning more, don't hesitate to contact us. You can, of course, you can email us at contact@codersarts.com. Plus, you can visit our website, that is www.codersarts.com. Okay, and if you want, you can call us in on our customer care number as well. I would suggest everyone to take a screenshot of this page. Yeah.
Thank you, Devdatta.
So, yeah,
Thank you,
thank you for
everyone, for
joining us
joining.
today. Yeah, thank you for joining us today, Mrinali.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you. So, we will conclude the webinar here. Thank you, everyone.